Thank you. Thank you for coming to the first Director's Cut. Um, I'm going to introduce our moderator. Also, real quick before I forget, let me thank Lyric Hall Theater for partnering with us on this and supporting us in the best way. Um, and also Revival, that's their collaborator. Thank you to Margaret. Thank you to John and everyone who was involved. Um, cool. Without further ado, I want to introduce our moderator, who's a good friend of mine. I've known her for years, and as long as I've known her, she's been really deep into film, into theater, and it's cool to see her blossoming on her own. And I'm happy she's here with us. I'm gonna read off her bio real quick, just so you can kind of know what she does and what she's into. Jacqueline Brown, New Haven native, university trained actress. Jackie Brown, you can call her Jackie too, or Jack, right? Jackie Brown has been part of a theater since a young age. She's played roles from Shakespeare to Lorraine Hansberry, August Wilson. Ooh, this next name. I don't know about this next. I don't want to butcher it, but he seems important. Sharice M. Salem, Joy Harris, and A.K. Payne. Jack's pursuit of acting has landed her on stages in CT, New York, and film sets in Atlanta. She's an excellent director, producer, playwright, and dedicated acting coach. I've seen this with my own eyes. And enjoys time outside with nature and with God. Mm-hmm. She looks forward to her future working as an award-winning actress and adding her name to a list of greatest performers of all time. And I believe that, too, wholeheartedly. Yeah, give it up for Jackie.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to see you all, see your beautiful faces. I'm happy to get this started, y'all. Thank you for your patience. We are all here to have a good time. I'm happy you're here. I'm happy to be here myself. So let's just get into it, right? All right. So our first person coming up to join me is Isaiah Providence, and I'm going to read his bio. Isaiah is a director and a cinematographer from New Haven, Connecticut. All right, New Haven native. He is a passionate director and cinematographer, recently premiering his short film, Clotilda, about a dancer who searches for strength to overcome the trauma that has plagued her people. Isaiah is an inspiring director who aims to create enticing imagery through films that are thought-provoking to today's society. Give a warm welcome to Isaiah. Yeah, come on up. Come on, join me, Isaiah. Yes, yes, yes. I believe you could grab a mic, too, if you like. Because I get the special one. Want to test it out?
Test it.
Yeah, good, good, good. All right, Isaiah. So, I'm going to get started, all right? You ready? Okay. So, tell us, how long have you been doing this, and what was your inspiration for picking up a camera?
How long have I been a filmmaker? I want to say I've taken the craft seriously, I would say, the past 5 years. I actually was thinking back to times when I used to create little stories or films with my brother. I actually have some stuff from 6th grade on YouTube, and I look back at those films every once in a blue moon, and I think back to, okay, that's where I was, however long ago that was in 6th grade. So I want to say I've been taking it serious the past 5 years.
Okay. Nice. And so what inspired you to start to take it serious and it not just be a hobby that you did with your brother?
So I want to say what inspired me to take filmmaking serious is I've always been a storyteller. It hasn't always been with film. I originally started in the arts as an actor in 5th grade at Betsy Ross. And
Betsy Ross?
Betsy Ross, hey. Right. And I transitioned into dance my 8th grade year. And from there, I actually ended up going to ECA, where I was a dancer. I was in the dance department for 4 years. So I want to say I've always told stories. Yeah. I told stories through dance, with my body and other people's bodies, and now I kind of sort of transitioned into filmmaking. So I believe everyone has a story. Um, so I just, I want to tell my tell my story or my experiences or stories that interest me. So
That's wonderful. Thank you. Awesome. So you really are a New Haven native. You all have been New Haven.
yes, yes.
Okay, cool. So in my research, I've been noticing that you say this, that at least you've said this in a few captions.
Okay.
All right. You said, I'm not where I want to be, but where I'm supposed to be, and I'm excited about where I'm going. As an artist or even a person, I myself have experienced feelings that I'm not where I want to be, and I've been obsessed over that. But this mantra that you created seems to combat those thoughts that I'm where I'm supposed to be. So, has that always been a mindset of yours? How did that develop if it wasn't?
It's funny that you said that because I was just telling another fellow filmmaker today. I was on. He was interviewing a WNBA player today, and I was on set with him. I was helping him with that, and I was just telling him that as words of encouragement. To whereas I want to say, for myself at least, I'm not comfortable, and I never want to be complacent. I never want to be in that comfortable position because then I feel like there's no room for growth or I'm not going to grow. So I use that as inspiration or words of motivation towards I can always be better. Not even just as a filmmaker, but just as a person in general, in all aspects of my life. So that is actually I told him that's my favorite phrase. So
It's a great phrase.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to. I'm going to take that with me too, honestly. Okay, cool. Um, okay. So when you approach a project or when you're cultivating an idea, what does that process look like for you? You talked about how you want to tell stories that are important to you. How do you get to that moment of saying this is something that I deem as worthy to tell a larger story about, if that makes sense?
So I would say I never want to force the course of the river, meaning I don't want to force an idea, right? I want to say sometimes experiences or ideas just come to me, or I'm paying attention to something that's in the world, or just something that sparks my interest. Um, and I do want to be outside the box, but I also know that there's no new thing done under the sun. So I just try to tell stories differently because we all have very similar experiences. We might not have met, but I know you. You know what I mean? So um, I want to say the ideas for films come from just life in general.
I see one of your upcoming projects is something about your grandfather too, right?
Yes.
How's that going? How's that been? How's that process?
So my granddad, he just passed away in February. He is from Guyana, or he was from Guyana. So I wanted to tell us a story about him. I wanted to do a documentary about him, how he moved here in 1958, started in Florida. He traveled up here, and he met my grandmother at a laundromat, and he told her we were going to get married. They got married after 6 weeks. He said, granted, he said you're going to have my 6 sons, and that's exactly what happened. I had 6 sons, but he always wanted to go back to Guyana.
Yeah.
So he always wanted to go back and live there. So he was a very particular man, and a lot of stories, a lot of experiences that I have from my father and from my uncles that I just want to tell that story. So I would love actually to go back as part of the documentary next year, to go back, to go to Guyana, to his village, to just document everything like that. So because if he wasn't able to make it, at least a part of him was able to. So
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
thank you.
That's a great way to honor him as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep in touch with you about that. All right. What are your top 3 values as an artist that almost always show up in your work?
I want to say, that's a great question. The first value that pops up in my head is integrity. I always want to maintain the integrity of the art and the integrity of just myself in general. I feel like more times than not, or more times than should, we often cave to what everyone else wants to see, what's exciting or what's entertaining, but not that which is thought provoking. So in my work, I try to do a lot of thought provoking. I'll try to do a lot of thought. I try to provoke thought. I want to say that. So integrity is one. What's the question again? I know it's 3 words. So.
Yeah, what are the top 3 values?
Values.
That you have as an artist that usually show up in your work?
Okay, so I'll say that. I'll say integrity. I want to provoke thought, and consistency. How about that? Consistency.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, cool. So you kind of answered this a little bit about saying like you're always uncomfortable. Can you point to a time most recently that you were uncomfortable in your work and how it allowed you to like evolve as an artist because of that?
Okay. I want to say last year I was shooting another one of my passion project short films, and I was uncomfortable because originally the location that we were going to use, and we did use the location, the owner forgot that we were going to use the location. It was during the Super Bowl. It was the day of the Super Bowl, and I purposely went there around, let's say, 1 in the morning, not 1 in the morning, around like 1 p.m. to remind them, hey, is it okay for us to still use the location? It was a gas station. So the short film was about a self-doubting, hopeless romantic goes to the gas station to fill up his tank when he encounters a woman that fills up his heart.
Aww.
Is this love at first pump? It's titled Gas Station Love. And the thought from that just comes from the experience that I feel like we all might have, to where I'm in the shopper market and I see, a good-looking woman or a good-looking man. It's just those 2-3 seconds right there, I get the idea of what would life would be like, with that person. So that's the idea I have for that short film. That so the owner, he said, I don't know, because I totally forgot it's the Super Bowl. And I'm like, and he said, is there any way that you could reschedule? I got about 20 people coming. I kind of can't reschedule, and that's, with the cast and the crew. So I said, listen, if you give us an hour or 2, then we'll be able to get in and get out. And knowing that in film, that's not how it works.
Right.
It's not how. Right. So when we got there and he actually saw the production, he said, listen, you can stay as long as you want. But I had it in the back of my head, I'm only supposed to be here for an hour or 2. And you're sacrificing your time and what you want to do to help me out. So I don't want to take that for granted, and I don't want to take advantage of that. So that was a point where I was uncomfortable. And I'm going to reshoot that short film because I wasn't happy with it because I rushed, and I don't like to rush. So, I would say that's the time that I was uncomfortable.
Let us know when that comes out, okay?
I'm still casting, so,
Okay. Oh,
let
me know. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. I just jumped right into the questions because I was so excited to chat with you. But we actually want to show your work to the people.
Thank you.
So let's do that.
The officer's body-worn camera shows the entire incident. Police removing 20-year-old Dante Wright from his car, placing him under arrest for an outstanding warrant. But before they can get handcuffs on him, he gets back into the car. A struggle begins. And that's when a female officer begins shouting about her taser. Police saying the shout of taser, 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 an alert to other officers that she is about to fire. But she doesn't have her taser in her hand. It's her handgun, and police say she fired once.
come here today to talk about.
I'm thinking about in terms of a better, greater world for all people.
We're not interested. We don't want that.
Don't be in a state of denial of the racism and sexism. But don't let that block you.
Negro man has been emasculated and destroyed by the fact that every time he stood up, he got just snuffed out. So I don't think there's any question that there's going to be violence and brutality. But my attitude is that the brutality and the violence shouldn't become the reason that you want to be free. But that's a very personal thing, freedom is. See, the question isn't what is freedom to me, it's what price freedom. Because sometimes the price that you pay for freedom is the very thing that makes you a slave again.
We have been displaced. A lot of us don't really understand what slavery actually did to us and how much psychological trauma it did to us regarding what our proper roles are with each other, what our responsibilities are as man and woman in our various communities and relationships. We spend too much time tearing each other down, trying to make the other person do different or function different. If you want somebody to change, first change yourself.
Don't be in a state of denial of the racism and sexism. But don't let that block you. Don't teach your children that you have to be twice as good as a white. That's an awful thing to teach your children. Mm-hmm. That's like saying because you're black, white America has a right to change your dollar for 94 cents. But we used to get 50 cents, and before that we used to get nothing.
You're asking me why these black people burning down these buildings out there. Hell, they got a positive answer. People are not as dumb as people would think. With all the brilliant white psychiatrists and psychologists, you've been able to find a damn path to the moon, but you ain't been able to find one goddamn path 1 mile up the street. Maybe you better take time with just all this unique ability to find all these scientific discoveries that you've got to learn how to find your way into men's hearts and the men's minds.
been so busy dealing with the hurt and the pain and the misery and glamorizing a handful that have made it, that we have never really looked at, like they say, your role model. If you haven't got a role model in your house, you should fall on your knees and pray to God, because something is wrong.
Yes.
If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America, and then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
The 400 years that I've existed there, 3 years, 3 generations within my own family, why didn't you know what I'm like? What is it so new in 1968 or, in the 60s that you gotta learn? Because my grandfather was born, he's 90. My mother was ready for integration. She's middle-class Negro. Now all of a sudden you come to me and you say, communicate with me. Hell, I've been here all the time.
Now you get this straight. You can kill all the black folks you want to, baby, but you will not kill the freedom of black folks. It's coming. We're going to get it.
Let me put it to you this way. We are proud of being black and of our black heritage. It is never accepted the fact that there are black people, brown people, yellow people there alongside them. They've always looked upon America as being white. All of this propaganda is directed at us. Come out here, we want to become white before they were.
Don't be in a state of denial of the racism and sexism. But don't let that block you.
great. That was amazing.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Okay. I don't know where to start. So, how did you have a viewing of this with people already? How did that feel? How did this feel for you? Be honest.
So I premiered a version of it at a short film fest last year in February. It's for one of my filmmaking friends that asked me to show my short film because it was actually the premiere of his short film, his first short film, and it was in Mystic, so it was a total different geographic. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So I actually showed it to a couple of students at the school I used to work at. I worked at Mill Road in North Haven, which is an alternative school. And I showed it to them, and they're students, they're middle school, so they had their ideas or their feelings towards it. And then I also had a premiere / film festival back in January. I had it at ECA. It was kind of like a red carpet event. We had over like 250 people come out. It was really nice. So that was really like the real premiere of it. But I definitely appreciate the, you guys are really genuine with the way you guys received the film. Even without talking to you guys about it, I could feel that it was genuine. Yeah. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. I was so upset when he caught her and tackled her. I was like, oh, man. I didn't see that. And he came from the side. Yeah. It was beautiful.
Yes.
The cinematography was beautiful.
Thank you.
Like, even with it, we having those moments of it slowing down, I was just, like, enthralled to see her with the sun behind her and the trees. Oh, my gosh. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. What, and excuse me if I don't know the history, but what made you choose that name for the film?
So, I'm still really trying to find out why I chose the name. Clotilda is the name of the last reported slave ship to bring slaves over to America between 1858 and 1860, when importing slaves was actually, illegal. It was against the law. And it was a man, I forget his name, he actually made a bet saying that he bet that he could bring some slaves over to America and get away with it. So that's exactly what he did. I think it was around 100 or 110 slaves that he brought over to America on the Clotilda. And I chose Clotilda because I feel like there is a lot of hidden history or hidden stories that, we as a people or just we as people don't know. So that was one of the reasons why it kind of drew me to that name, Clotilda. Thank you.
Do we have any questions from the crowd? Is that a hand? Yeah.
Test.
Hi, that was awesome. Thank you for sharing your gift with us. I would like to know your perspective on why she was running and ends up running into, it's like the past running into the present. That's what I saw. I would like to know more about why you chose to bring the past and the present together in that way and what that represents.
That's a great question. Why was she running? So I just feel like we as people in general, whether you say you run from the past or you run from history, I just feel like there's a lot of information in the world that we are not privy to. So her running away from the man, or the catcher, as it says in the credits, I would say kind of resembles that. But here's the saying, and I'm sure you guys can help me out with it. If you don't know your past, then you're bound to repeat it or something like that. So I kind of use that as a little bit of inspiration, which also goes with another project I'm working on. But
There goes that consistency.
Oh yeah.
I love it. Any other questions from the crowd? Yeah, I saw this hand first, and then over there.
Hello. So is there like a reason why you decided? I understand you have like a background in like dancing. Is there a reason why you decided to like incorporate dance into the film? And I thought it was powerful, but I'm curious.
You answered your own question. Yeah, no. So, like how I stated prior, dance is used, at least in my experience, of a communication tool to communicate a message, right? So I feel like dance in this piece right here was used. Sometimes we can't express ourselves verbally, and we find that there are other avenues or other streams that we can do that. So with myself being a former dancer, Siobhan, who's a dancer, I used to dance with her at ECA. I just found like dance was just, I just had to use that as that communication tool, or tool to communicate a message, I would say, along with everything else, like the voiceovers. Those are all from the 50s, 60s, 70s, about the experiences of people of color in America, and I use that as well because it's not too far off from what we're experiencing today. Whether you want to put a veil over it or not, or a Band-Aid over it, I still feel what they were saying, whether or not I experienced it or not. So,
thank you.
Wow.
Hey, there are a lot of great moments in this film, and one moment that I found particularly interesting was when he was chasing her. Well, I guess two things. One, it just felt like this persistent chase that we're still fighting with and we're still battling with. And then another thing was he looked kind of somber, and I thought I saw a tear at one moment when she was getting away. So I was just like confirming, like, was there a moment where he shed a tear at, like, was it this loss of property, or what did that mean to you?
It probably was sweat because it was hot. So
okay.
it was. I remember the days. It was August 25th and August 26th. August 25th. If like I have some behind the scenes photos. It was 9 a.m. and my shirt is drenched. Oh, okay. So Drew, he actually had to keep on taking off his clothes and everything because it was just too hot. So it probably was sweat, to be honest. But I'll say that playing this particular role was difficult for him, right? Because that's not who he is as a person. He's a very loving and caring person. So playing this particular role, we actually had to give him time to be by himself and to really try to be in a character. So we might not have seen the the tears and the emotion, but I know he definitely probably was feeling it because that's not who he is. And the beautiful thing about working with Drew was the book at the end, A Raisin in the Sun, talking about the struggle. I didn't tell him to bring that, but I wanted a book like that, and sure enough, he brought that. So,
yeah,
just that connection right there.
That was great, and the fact that it was serendipitous that he bought that book. Mm-hmm. I was looking, I was squinting. I'm like, what book is that?
Yep.
Someone told
Raisin
me.
in the Sun.
Do we have another question? Possibly. Yeah.
Not necessarily. My bad.
You don't gotta be that close. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Not necessarily a question, but appreciation of the content of everything that was in the film. For example, the use of silhouettes, the use of light, the juxtaposition from present and past, and also everything from beginning to, I guess, almost to the end was like didn't have a lot of color to it, and then at the end there was like this burst of color where well, to me, signifying like a happy ending, like, or kind of like a burst of like fruitfulness. Like, I'm not sure if that's what you intended, but I just noticed that, and I wanted to just give my appreciation for that, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What was the location of the woods? Where's that?
Everybody asked that question, right?
Yeah.
So the location, that was in Derby,
Oh, okay.
Siobhan found that location. I forget the name of the park, but it was in Derby. It was I think it's a state park or a free park. So but of course we had to call to see if we were able to use the location, and sure enough we were able to use it. And there was a lot of interesting parts. So actually, I want to say the majority of the silhouette moments that actually probably was like day 4. And the reason why I say it was day 4 is because originally we shot in 2 days, and I just wasn't happy with what I had. I felt like I still needed to get more coverage or just, just more footage. And that actually was at the end of the day. It was just myself and Drew and Siobhan. And we went out, we did got a couple different footage and shots and everything. And actually we were walking back to leave, and we walked past, and I saw the way how the light was hitting the water, and the way how it was just, reflecting onto us. I said, hold up, we got to shoot right here real quick. So, I said, you got to improv. So we improv right there. So
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
I love that part of creating. It's like when you allow it to just flow and show itself to you, you get those moments.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Do we have more time, or where we at? Oh, I'm down to ask another question. Anybody have another question? Yeah, we got a hand over there.
Thanks. Hi. Thank you for your film. I had a couple of questions or a couple of observations that I would like to hear, your take on. So the first has to do with, again, that scene of your friend. Shout out to all our ginger friends, because I feel like all Black people, we know that one like down ginger who's like, who's like just ready,
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Drew. But I think that it was important to see him in the light of like he's just enjoying his day, like in the present day, and he, is getting to experience like Blackness in this really beautiful way through literature. So I wanted to first ask about like kind of the redemptive nature that Black liberation has on, I guess, the totality of society. That's number one. Number two, I kind of wanted to hear a little bit more about the way that gender played into your short film, because there were these moments between like a white man and a Black woman, a Black couple, this Black man who was kneeling in front of our beautiful protagonist. So I would like to hear more about that.
Okay, so I want to say especially the last image that we saw of Drew, and he was reading the book for a reason. And the idea I had behind that was I feel like we as people, that we come from all different backgrounds, all different ethnic groups, and we're comfortable and familiar with what we know, right? And I think it's about, before we have a preconceived notion about someone, I feel like we just, whether you agree or not, or you agree with the group of people, try to understand them, right? So I wanted to use that image as a tool for him to try and understand us, right? For example, right, I'm having a conversation with a coworker, and I'm explaining to him, he's a white gentleman, and I'm explaining to him he wouldn't have the same feeling or know what it feels like to get pulled over by the police like how I would. And he confessed he wouldn't. He never even thought about it. He wouldn't know what it would feel like. And I've been pulled over by the police, and I'm in, I think it's Milford in the woods, and I ran a stoplight, a stop sign, and hands on, steering wheel, and I don't know. And just explain to him, explaining that to him, that I have a preset in my phone already to where if I have to get pulled over, all I have to say is, "Hey Siri, I'm getting pulled over by the police," and it sends an email to it sends a text message to my siblings, to my parents, and it automatically starts recording. So I did that just because these are things I feel like I shouldn't have to, but that's just what I have to do, and being in the society we live in. So I used that as a part towards I wanted people to try and understand us, just like we should try to understand them, or try to understand other people in general, you know, and their experiences. So I hope I answered that question. And you had another one. You had two other ones. Gender. So I just wanted to as far as gender goes, I chose specifically, at least for the male and the woman, the male and the woman, right? The man and the woman that were arguing, just from my experiences, or experiences that I've seen, that broken household, right? So, and how it said in the voiceover, we should try and change ourselves, right? Like how I said earlier, I wish, you know, the integrity of myself and how I'm not where I want to be, but I'm where I'm supposed to be, and I'm excited to where I'm going. To whereas I know that I can always be a better person, not just for me, but for my spouse, for my children, or for my parents, whoever it might be. So, as far as genders goes, with the man that was kneeling down, it was funny because it was a jumpsuit. He was supposed to be a wrongfully convicted man, but the jumpsuit was too big for him. Sorry, it was too small for him. So yeah, he was only able to pull up to his waist. He couldn't pull over the whole joint. So if there was a little bit of confusion with that, he was just a wrongfully convicted man. The beaten and battered woman, she was in there as well. Just experiences that we, you know, might be all too knowledgeable about, or, you know, experience, and, you know, so that's pretty much why I used those certain parts, you know, the youth that had the, you know, with the blood, that's something that we all might have experienced or know about, right? So, you know, that's pretty much why I used it.
Beautiful.
And you had one more. Okay.
No, that was it. Yeah. Anyone else? Question? We have time for one more. No.
I want to say we actually did this. I think we only shot with like a crew of 3 people. All right, so it was a crew of 3, and it was myself and 2 people, Alfred and Tyron. They were PAs, and I reached out to them because they reached out to me prior. Said, hey, if you ever have a project, you know, let me know. So I reached out, and they helped me. And so I want to give a big shout out to them, give a big shout out to the crew and the cast, you know, and we got this project done. And even now, I'm still looking at like, okay, I could have done that differently, could have done that different, you know.
Does that ever stop the idea of like wanting to tweak something that you've done?
I feel if you always want, if you're not complacent or if you're not comfortable, I feel like it won't ever stop, right? Even going down to a log line, just words, I'm like, okay, I could tweak this word a little bit, right? So, no, I feel like I could have done some things. You know, I could have made some other creative choices differently. You know, I've in almost all my projects, I'm finishing up a short film right now, titled "A Wild Bull in a Net." And even then, I'm like, okay, I need to get some more shots because, you know, XXX. So.
I know that was a question, but I have another one. When do you? So you said you had some stuff that you would still like to tweak, but when do you know to say this is I'm ready to release this? Is it a feeling that you get when you're like, okay, even if I would tweak something, this is good to put out?
That's a good question. I would say it's probably a feeling. It's probably a feeling. You know, I'm again, I don't want to contradict myself. I know when I said I never feel comfortable, but when I am at a point of comfort, I'll say, I'm like, okay, I think this is ready to be released. And even then, I'm still, okay, you know, and that's why it's good for other people to see it because, you know, I've had other people say, oh, it's beautiful, and then I've had other, you know, critiques and stuff like that. So, I feel like there's never a point, you know. I got a couple other things I'm trying to work on right now. I got a short film. Tell me what you guys think. I'm taking the idea of Adam and putting him in today's time.
Okay.
The log line goes, newly created from the dust of the earth, A blameless man witnesses the aftermath of the first sin. And I'm titling it Unto Dust. Then I got a feature film idea I'm working on about a beloved teen has his neighborhood turn against him overnight when his integrity challenges everyone's expectations. And it's titled Snitch. So those are just a couple projects I'm working on right now. So.
I'm excited. These log lines are
Yeah, I'll say I work on them. You know what I mean?
These log lines are tight.
I work on them. So.
Okay, I wanna leave you with this for your artistry. That it's not where you want it to be, but it's where it's supposed to be. Yeah. Right. So that's when you know you're ready to put it out.
Thank you.
Word. Everybody, round of applause for Isaiah, huh? Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay.
Can we get one more hand for Isaiah?
Yeah.
That was crazy. Oh.
Yeah, it's low.
It's crazy.
It's low for you.
It's cool. It's cozy though. I like this.
You got the slides on. I want to get comfortable too now.
Yeah, I bought the Birks out.
Yeah, you did.
With the N1 socks.
Why you holding the mic like this?
Mm-hmm.
We about to rap.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like that's how my granddad would hold it.
Yeah, that's how. He said like that too.
Yeah, I want to rap with you real quick.
Okay.
It was a couple things he said, and full transparency, this is where we would have had our next guest for the new folks. A few of our participants had to drop out. One because of illness, the other schedule conflict. It got real wild, but they both want to be here. But we found it as just more of an opportunity to get to know one another, and I want to hear more about what y'all are doing also, because I know a lot of y'all here, either from just like personal experience, I know a lot of y'all are doing some cool stuff, and at some point we're going to open the floor just to hear from y'all. And I also want to wrap with Jack, because Jack is someone who's doing some amazing things too in film and in screenwriting and stuff like that. I personally had a question about roles when he was talking about, I forgot the person's name, and you're an actor, right? How do you prepare for, or have you had to prepare for like a role that like, you know, going into it, you have no experience doing that type of thing? Me, you know, I'm with the Bessie Ross too. Shout out Bessie Ross. So I've done some school plays, like, you know what I mean? But I've never had to really like lock in on something. But I've always admired like actors who have to like lock in and just be like, yo, I'm a turtle now. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something random. Yeah. Your conversation with Isaiah made me think about that, because he said one of his actors had to just like,
Drew.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was wondering if you had that experience. I'm not sure if there are actors in the audience, and you know, how do you deal with that or confront that?
Yeah. So not recently, but last summer, I actually played a lesbian lover in a play, and I had never experienced that before. And that also was a challenge for me because I come from a Christian background, and, you know, they throw the Bible at anybody if they say they attracted to anyone of the same sex. So but with that, I have a lot of friends who are lesbian, gay, and things of that nature, and I love them all the same. And for me, that was really a moment of like, okay, where do my values lie? How do I show this character real, right? And it was really nerve-wracking for me because I knew my grandmother was coming, I knew my mom was coming, I knew all these people were coming, and I had a duty as an actor to breathe life to these words. So for me, it started by just really memorizing, like getting them to get so in my mind that I can say them without thinking about them. And then it started to be like, it took a lot of research. I started to watch people. I hung out with one of my closest friends. They're a couple. I hung out with them. and I just watched them communicate with each other, how soft they were with each other, and I really got solidified in what my character's intention was. Like, in the story, the person that she's in love with is closeted, right? They're best friends, and she kind of puts my character on the sidelines as she starts to pursue this relationship with this man. And for me, for that character, it was more than that. It was more than just a show. Like, she didn't see it that in order to be a woman, you had to be with a man. She knew she was a woman regardless of who she loved. And for me, I put the intention to say, I love this woman and I want her to stay, because it also got into a point where she was moving state lines. And so with that in my mind, I just really started to get in touch with my feelings of like, how would I feel if I loved someone so much and they were fighting to get away from me? And it showed. And at least for me as an actor, I surprise myself. Like, in the rehearsal process, I'm really hard on myself about like getting it right, and oh, that didn't feel real in that rehearsal. But when I'm on that stage and them lights come on, man, listen, it's totally different. It's totally different. I surprise myself. I cried for the first time during our opening night. I had never cried in any of the rehearsals, but our opening night, I was locked in. And I was listening to this interview. This actor said this. I believe it was either Samuel Jackson or someone, but they talked about how in the rehearsal process, you do so much work. It's like climbing a ladder. Like, you're getting the research, you're rehearsing the lines, you're doing the work with your castmate. And as soon as the camera comes on, because they were talking about film, as soon as the camera comes on, it's like you jump off the ladder and you're just free falling past all of those steps that you have been building up the whole time.
That's scary.
It's scary.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful all at the same time, because especially with theater, you have the ability, if you're doing it the play more than once, you have the ability to find new things as you keep going. So each night was different. Like, I remember feeling like, oh man, I cried last time, but I cried like 2 lines ago. Now my eyes are dry. I'm not crying, but it didn't hit until later. And we found a different moment of vulnerability in that. And that's real life, So
yeah.
I hope I answered that question.
Nah, you definitely did. It's always intriguing to me, just the amount of layers, one, behind writing characters. I think there's a lot, it starts there, like, who's writing the characters, like, who are we choosing to play the characters, and then that person has to embody something that's like sometimes even more layered. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot of layers that go into playwriting, screenwriting, scripts and stuff like that, and then embodying a character, what it means to like embody a character, why are you playing that character? Like, it's like a lot of stuff that goes into it. And I do music, but I'm getting into film too, which is why I'm like doing an event like this. So yeah, I'm learning to navigate those spaces myself, and I appreciate that answer a lot.
Characters are people.
Characters are literal people, yo. Yeah, I think that's like that's the thing. And I think for a long time, at least my experience watching Hollywood or like watching stuff, is they were just like throwing anybody into anything and like misrepresenting people and stuff like that. So, and it's like sometimes people totally disrespected like these actual people. You know what I mean? Like, who are real people and have real identities. I think that's changed in a good way a lot. I think there's work to be done just from the outside in, but I appreciate that we're talking about it in this way now, right? Where we're like acknowledging characters as real people, because they do, art to me is the most powerful thing in the world. Yeah. Right? Look what it can make us do and feel. So yeah, that's something I'm kind of have my eye out for, just as like an upcoming person in film or whatever. Cool. I just wanted to like ask that because it was on my brain. we will come back around and open up the floor to the audience just in general because I want to know what y'all are doing and what are y'all like into. We're gonna take like a 5-minute little, you know what I'm saying, intermission, and we're gonna get ready for our live performer, Neon Amor, aka Eam, aka Neon Amor. And I'm really excited about them. She, one of my good friends from way back when, just in the music industry, ill.
Hey.
In the community here.
You're in the music
Industry's
industry.
weird though. That's a weird thing to say. You know what I mean? Like
music gang.
Yeah.
Haven, how we doing? Connect more, collaborate more, and all this music tonight is some of the stuff that I've been working on as I've been in my
I am so good. I'm so good. Or something. I'm so good. I'm so good. You're something like a daisy. All I smell is you on the wind that could take me. Sunny or it's shady, running through my mind all the time. Shit is crazy. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. Ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait no more. I can't wait. I can't wait. Ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait no more. Word is on the ground. Everything we found is profound, and they down to the sing of our love. Sing of our love. It's all over town. Everybody moves to the groove of a sweet tune, singing our love. Our love. Never separated.
Y'all can't see me right now, but give one more hand for Neon Amor. That was incredible. That was amazing. That was beyond amazing. That was beyond amazing.
Yes, please. Welcome our wonderful artists.
Wow.
Yeah.
This chair is nice.
Isn't it nice?
Should have sat here while I was performing.
Get cozy. What's up?
Repeat your question again.
What's your inspiration for your music?
I think I I think it's life. I think music has always been a really big therapy for me. It's been cathartic. It's been connection. It's been expression. It's been the place that I was allowed to feel, to ask questions, to understand, to misunderstand. Music and I have a really long, loving relationship, and I intend to continue to have that relationship with music, and it sort of is changing and evolving with me. I'm pulling from all sorts of parts of life. I feel like I am a culmination of a bunch of different puzzle pieces, a bunch of different samples, a bunch of different textures and things, just little bits and fragments. And I think my music is a reflection of, I like sampled some birds in there. I had some like really intense dubstep horns. I had drum and bass drums. I'm just trying to remain open to being open to life and whatever inspiration comes in my direction, and sort of throw it in the pot and stir that shit around and see what comes out.
Yeah, like paint, like throwing paint at a
Yeah,
canvas.
yeah, and just kind of seeing what the canvas is telling you. Yeah, just kind of responding to whatever is coming through and just doing that justice regardless of anything else. I don't tend to like look towards like trends or the popular music or like what everybody else is doing. None of that really interests me. I'm just kind of interested in making something that feels good, that moves me, and hopefully moves the people who are listening to it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome. I think we're ready too.
Y'all ready?
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah. Dogs. Yeah. Head is buzzing, got a nose running, heading out to London, tell Adele we coming, can't tell the drummer boy gon' stop drumming, 5 steps ahead, you cannot outrun him, Rolex or handcuffs or scars on your wrist, that's my paranoia, I am Francis Goya in this bitch, my bitch ain't my bitch, love her with every inch, love her more than myself, but that doesn't say shit, it's you, girl it's you, I would drop all this music shit off of you, all this cocaine on the table off of you, why you looking at me like you got some bad news? This the church of Badu where bad bitches come through. Excuse me, mic check 1, 2. No air in this room, hard to adjust to. She got my wires crossed and I'm about to blow a fuse. This the kind of feeling that'll make your nose bleed. Taking off a top like I'm about to do her lingerie. R&B and weed and we down the whole Henny. Staring contests when we fuck. She got eyes like Buscemi. Face to face with the pussy. Yeah, she shoved my face in. I live in the pussy like a vacation. If love is a drug, the fuck is this laced with? If I OD, please someone call the Olsen twins, dog. Girl, it's you. I would drop all this music shit off of you. All this cocaine on the table off of you. Why you looking at me like you got some bad news? Oh, it's you. Girl, it's you. I would drop all this music shit off of you. All this cocaine on the table off of you. Why you looking at me like you got some bad news? Yeah. Fly away, fly away, fly away. Fly away, fly away, fly away. Fly away, fly away, fly away. Fly away. Don't stay, fly away.
Do you think that's the reason why you don't look back at it that way is because you didn't put so much pressure around the product?
I
and
think
you
so.
just kind of let it grow its own legs?
Yeah, I think now it's kind of like once you release something, now it's like all eyes on you, and you have to like. There's always that pressure as an artist to like top yourself. Like, what am I gonna do next? Am I gonna level up? And so now it's kind of like, fuck. Like we have to make, everything has to be, a banger. It has to be great. Yeah. And so looking back on that, it's like, oh man, I wish we could have that. You know,
that freedom,
that freedom and that carelessness.
Yeah, I also think, this process, like I said, there was no deadline on it. It was just we were just making it, and I think after this we kind of got into like a position of really like trying to be this like super professional and like, you know, like, all right, we're gonna set dates for everything. It's got to be done by this day, and we did that, and it was just like it didn't feel the same.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, this kind of sucks. Like,
Yeah.
But you know, that's just like part of learning, and I think now we're coming back to a place where we're like, we're really just gonna take our time with what we're doing, and when it's time, and when it's ready to put out in the way we want to do it, that's when we're gonna do it. And so I think that helps a lot too.
Yeah. Great. And what, I guess you had to go through that process to get to that point of like, okay, let's reel it back and get back to our roots of really just having fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess we like kind of learned that through just other releases that we did, even, you know, working with other people, figuring things out. It's all really a learning process that, I mean, that video came out in
2021?
August of 2021.
Mhm.
So it's like we're not that far from that. Like,
You were founded in 2021
Yeah.
as well. So, okay, let's start at the beginning. How about that? So one of my questions is, I guess we could say them, they're like part A, part B, is where did the name Third Row come from? And part B is, how did you all decide that you each as an individual wanted to come together and create Third Row?
That's all you, buddy.
Yeah. So the name, it's honestly kind of cheesy. But,
Yeah, a little.
But you know, so we all met at school.
Audio school.
Audio engineering school, which none of us are audio engineers now.
Yeah, nah.
But you know,
Word.
we all went to school for that. And yeah, we all met at school. None of us going into, you know, it was college. None of us going into it really knew each other, and we all just first day of school happened to sit in the third row.
Yeah.
And we met each other, and we've, you know, been great friends, and you know, so yeah, it's it's super like. It's not. I feel like it's not a cool story.
Right.
It's great. I love it. I'm blushing.
I always try to like think of like a cooler way to explain it, but that's really what it was.
That's...
And then I kind of approached everybody and was like, hey, like, what if we do this thing? And it really came from a place of like me personally wanting to do like multiple things, you know, like feel like sometimes as an artist you get caught up in like, you know, I make music, so this is what I have to do, and or, you know, I'm into film or photography or whatever it is. But I knew I liked to do different things, like, you know, music-wise. Like, I helped co-produce Another Fix. But I also like film and directing. And so I felt like, you know, if I can create something where I can kind of do all these things and kind of use this as like a vessel to do that, I think like that's kind of where like the origin of it came from. And also, honestly, just being able to make things with your friends, which was like the original thing, you know, like I grew up on, you know, the Odd Futures and, you know, all those kinds of groups that were just like, it was just fun, you know, like I watched it and like as much as the stuff they were making was cool, it was just super fun to watch.
Yeah.
So, you know, it kind of stemmed from all that, and then everyone was like, yeah, and it's kind of just grown into its own thing. I think a new thing, something that maybe it wasn't, you know, the original idea to what it is now is different, but where it is now is something that, you know, I think we all love and we all enjoy doing. So, yeah.
I love that. So you all have evolved with your group, like with the artistry.
100%.
Absolutely, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's good to grow with your friends.
Yeah.
How is that? You know, they say don't like mix like business and your friendships, but you all work well together?
And we live together.
Yeah, we all live together.
We all live together.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
So, yeah, you do hear that.
Right.
I kind of like disagree.
Okay.
Right.
Because
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because we've worked with clients before on like their projects, and you know, there's a certain level of professionalism, and which is fine, as it should be. There's a certain level of, you know, there's time, there's dates, ins and outs, and you have to abide by that and be conscious of their time, and you know, which is all great. When we work together on our stuff, kind of flies out the window, like all that, because we, you know, we're friends and we're comfortable with each other, and there's not that, you know,
we just care about like the best product possible. So it's kind of like, if we do something, I'm like, yo, like this kind of sucks. Like this, do it again.
When you're working with a client, you can't really do that, And when it's just us, like there's been times where we filmed a video and something just wasn't working, and it was like 1 a.m. We're in like LA in the middle of the street, and we're trying to get this shot, and it's like, and we were able to stop and like kind of not argue, but like talk about it for like 45 minutes and then figure it out. When you're working with other people and it's their time, like you can't necessarily do that.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that, we're all friends and we all have a common goal, it works to our benefit, even in terms of just, being honest with each other. We'll tell each other like, it's not working, You can, and it's great when you can be that blunt and be that honest, and the other person knows like it's not anything personal. Like at the end of the day, we love each other, so it's like we're talking about this art and what we're trying to get done like at the moment. So yeah.
Love that. Congratulations about that, because
Yeah,
everyone
thank you.
can't do that.
Yeah.
Everyone can't do that.
Yeah.
Everyone can't keep it real and take the real. Okay. I believe either we have ability to do one more question, or are we ready for the next videos? One more question?
Okay.
Run a video. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to run.
Yeah, sorry, I'll just introduce
Yeah,
this
for sure.
as like, this is like the latest video we've done. It's not really a music video, but it's a live performance. So that was kind of the first one. This is kind of the latest thing we've done.
And this is our other member, Jazz.
Yes. So yeah.
It's the coldest time of the year. What the hell you running from? I see it on the summer's door. I see it, then I want it more. It's back and forth with the timing. It's alright, 'cause I can see it on the weekend. And we gon' do this every weekend. It's all time. What the hell you waiting for? You waiting for the summertime. You waiting for this. I kick up days in pain. All of this feels inane. I don't wanna go down, 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 down and down. And I can't keep waiting for days away. Every weekend, and I done dive into the deep end. It's alright, it's okay, I'm better now. It's alright, it's okay, and I mean it. Ain't no time when you need me, you need this. It's all the times when you was holding down. It's all the signs that align with you holding down. It's 2 o'clock, not 2:30, it's too in vain, and I'm too awake, and I'm caught up in this, not thinking straight, and not feeling right, and it's feeling like it's been all the time that you needed to break the tie. Ain't no trial, ain't no reason, it's over now. Ain't no spine in your system, it's all a lie. Ain't nobody thought you knew this, maybe you was proud. You never stopped and you never turned around. You never cried and you never settled down. Down, down, down. You never think to turn around. I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting.
I'm doing it right now.
Easy, easy. Pull out your heart to make up. Being alone. Easy, easy. Pull out your heart to make up. Being alone. Easy, easy. Crush what you're holding so and say let it go. Oh, oh, oh. Easy.
States ain't doing nothing for us, man. We busted our ass, we went over there to an army to kill, and 99% of us got killed, and we didn't get nothing for it. They give us a piece of paper that says we're Vietnam veterans, and we can get disability, or we can get this, or we can get a job. We ain't got nothing. Like that.
All right. I know we're all like waiting with bated breath. Like, is there another one?
No, sorry. Yeah, I didn't realize that they were going to be back to back, but just so everyone there's no like confusion. So yeah, the live video was its own video for Jazz's song Seasons, and then that which is out already, and then those last 3 short videos are kind of what's coming next. Those aren't out, so we kind of premiered them here, and it's all part of like the
Got the exclusive.
Exactly. Though we have a website coming out that we're kind of doing this whole rollout for. So those 3 videos are 3 commercial ads that are going to be for the website itself. So that's why, yeah. So just so that all makes sense, because I know it was a lot thrown at everyone at once. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, that's what that was.
That's a wonderful rollout, to be honest. Like I was ready to search it up right now.
Yeah,
it's coming soon.
It's coming very soon.
Yeah, very soon.
We just kind of have to, everything has to be perfect with the website, but
that's
yeah,
just our nature.
That's it.
Right. It's gonna be great.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Thank
Are
you.
we excited? Are you excited for the website? Quite excited. Great, and please share our love with Jazz. That was a beautiful song.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, also to say, so Doggo, who first music video, and then Jazz, they will both be performing July 1st here at the Seeing Sounds Festival. So yeah, you can see them there and see, them perform those songs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that means y'all gonna stick around, right? Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. All right. So we saw 2 very different music videos.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the process like of deciding what it is you want to put out? With so many people in this group, I'm sure everyone has different mindsets, values, things like that. Mm-hmm. So how do you decide, like, this is something that we as Third Row would put out?
I think it just comes down to having, like, fundamentally a good idea. Like, if you come to me with a good idea, I'm gonna be interested and want to do it. Mm-hmm. Whether it's way out of what I know, if I like what I'm hearing, then like why not? Like let's do it. And I think that's a lot of what we do. It's Josh will be like, I have this really cool idea for the ad campaigns. Like, what if we did this? I'm like, yeah, let's run it. Let's do it. And then with mine, that black and white one, I was like, I just want to just try something a little bit more abstract, different. And so I think at this point, we gotten to the point where we trust each other and our ideas. So it's just a matter of executing them and just figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we try to lean into it, honestly, in the terms of, like, even those ads, they're all very different, I think, and
yes.
so, and yeah, we do try to lean into that and try to show the versatility, because I think that is the benefit of having that, collective or art house, and I think it's having all these different perspectives and having all these different ideas. So it's like, yeah, let's show our range, let's show what we can do, and kind of not limit ourselves in any way. That the live video is the first time we ever did like something live like that, which is a completely different kind of monster than a music video.
Yeah.
It was, it was just, that was
Technical difficulty.
On the audio side, that's the audio from that session, and
oh wow,
so it's making sure that's running smoothly, and at that time it wasn't, and I directed that, so I'm communicating to them and communicating to the singers, and so it's definitely a lot more going on than a music video, and it's kind of like there's takes, and so all of it is very different, but I think for us that's like, we like that, and I think it works to our benefit, and we like trying different things and just kind of going with it and seeing what happens.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, thank you.
It is working. Keep it up. Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
It's quite good. I've been riffing. I'm not even asking
We
any
kind of
questions.
just
Yeah, you really did. I mean, it's fun. I'm having fun. Let's see if there's one in here that I actually want to ask you. When did you begin to own your ability as an artist?
I think just when I started doing it. It's just
Still
with
different.
Doggo's music video, it's
Yeah.
kind of like you don't know what you're good at until you do it. And so we did audio engineering school, and for the longest time I was like, yeah, like I want to be an audio engineer. I want to record artists. And then, one day I had an epiphany in the studio, and I was like, yeah, this kind of fucking sucks, I don't want to do this. And so Josh came to me with the idea of getting a camera, and so we did Doggo's music video, and I was like, oh, this, it's like, this is cool,
yeah.
And being an artist is kind of like you try different things, and to me, it's about what's the best way for me to communicate my ideas, and it just so happens to be that video is the best way I communicate. Music, I tried that, it didn't come out it didn't come out the way I wanted it to, communicating wise, my ideas, and so video is kind of.
He also had a background in photography.
Barely.
Very good photographer.
Yeah.
So I feel like that definitely helps. It does translate just in his knowledge alone. So yeah, just make sure everybody knows that.
Beautiful. And is it a similar story for you as well?
Honestly, I feel like it's happening right now.
Yeah.
I think. I feel like. Because your original question was, when did I know? Or
when did you start to own your ability?
Yeah, I definitely think it's happening right as we speak. I think before I was a little reserved in terms of speaking out on my ideas and things that I wanted to do. And I think the more we've kind of done this, it's kind of made me be a little more, just confident in myself and what I know I can accomplish or know I can communicate through, whatever it is I'm doing. So I definitely think that's all happening kind of live for me. Even with that, the second commercial, one with the colors and people and everything, that was like that idea alone. I was like, I came up with that, pitched it to Adam and everybody, and then we did it, and then I was like, oh yeah, I like this. It's like, and I was like, cool. And just even those moments helped me be like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, right? I got this. So, I think it's all happening live for me in terms of, that confidence and being, confident in just your abilities. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay. This question's a little out there. If we view films, music videos, TV as a living organism with a body, what part of the body is your realm of artistry?
Got that? Go ahead.
I'm just gonna the heart. Food. I really don't know.
Not food.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you,
Part of the body.
Yeah, tell us more. Why you say the heart?
So.
Stand on it. Go. It was good.
No,
it was good.
no, I can't. I just want to take the heart.
Sweat.
'Cause That's. What part of the body? I mean. It's so tough. I mean, I'm a visual person, so maybe the eyes, you know. But yeah, I've always loved movies and watching TV and stuff, and so that kind of aids in what we do. And so maybe I would probably say the eyes. Yeah.
The eyes.
What would you pick?
Part of the body. You said part of the body.
Yeah, your specific.
Let's.
I feel like for
brain.
sure he's the brain. He is.
Brain.
You're the brain, 100%.
And I will say, for Adam, the heart is a good answer for Adam, unless I was messing with him. Because without Adam, it'll fall apart, everything.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
He said it. He said it.
No, 100%. Like so much of what we do lies on Adam's back a lot of the time. So yeah, it would crumble 100%. Even just, even those commercials you just watched, like what he did to make sure those were done on time for this.
Yeah.
Because like those are very fresh, like very fresh.
So fresh, it's hot.
Yeah, like
right out the oven.
Like ridiculously fresh in terms of when they got completed, and so and what it took to get completed was on Adam's back, and it was like
lost some sleep.
Yeah, and it was like it was all on him. Like there's moments where it is all on him, and like we can't do anything. Like I can sit there with him while he does it, but it's like he still has to do it. So I think that is a good, good comparison. For
yeah, that's awesome. Which do you feel comfortable naming for your other members, a part of the group?
Man, what would Jazz be? I don't want to say it.
I don't know. What body? What?
I feel like I guess the legs. He does keep things like momentum wise going, and like he helps us keep our ear to the ground, or what's fresh and how to keep this thing going in terms of like ideas, because he's very blunt.
Yeah, he's very blunt.
We'll pitch some stuff in the best way. So it's kind of like you'll run to him excited, and then it's like, yo, what do you think? He's like that's what you're excited about?
Yeah. But in
the best way, though.
In the best way, and he also will look at stuff in such a different way that, just helps us. He just looks at some stuff completely different than I do. Yeah. So, which is great. But I would say, the legs is a great one. Doggo, man.
Dog, you want to answer that? Just scream it out real quick. There you go. There you go.
The ears.
And the ears.
I like that.
Yeah, Doggo's a music head. Like you should see his record collection.
It's ridiculous.
Insane.
Ridiculous.
Like, he has everything under the sun.
300 plus, which to me is like crazy.
That is a lot.
I thought I had a record collection. I have like 12. I'm like, look at this.
He knows music.
No, yeah.
And he helped me pick out the song for that last black and white video. I texted him, I was like, yo, I need a song that's gonna feel like jazzy, kind of up tempo, and then he just sent me some songs, and I was like,
he's done that a few times.
Yeah, he's done that a few times.
Or like we have like these promo videos that we're trying to put on Instagram. We're like, Doggo.
That is true.
And he'll be like, okay, and like in 5 minutes he'll have something that's like perfect. It's like, okay, cool.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So everybody does definitely play, a role in everything, which is, exactly, which is amazing. And it's nice now that we live together, so like I can just go wake him up and tell him I need help.
Yeah.
So that's great.
I love that. So we got the brains, the eyes, the heart, the legs, and the ears.
Yeah.
Who needs arms? We're fine.
Who needs arms?
Yeah. No, we don't need those.
Yeah.
Q&A? Oh, word. All right. Say that. So we're going to move on to our Q&A. Do I have another question? Kind of.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
do it.
cool. Dang, they're all so good. Now we have to choose. Okay, look at future. So.
Yeah, they're trying to leave. They're like,
All right, I'll choose two.
Okay.
If you could give your future self advice, what would it be?
Wow, if I give my future self advice. Just honestly, it would just be trust yourself. Yeah, 100%. Just trust your idea, trust yourself. Yeah, because I think sometimes, I mean, everybody has this where there's like that self-doubt and am I doing the right thing? And, or even maybe you're doing things for other reasons. There's outside influence, outside voices that make you, want to change something. But I think a lot of the times what I've learned since we've started doing this is like our ideas are good enough and what we do is good enough. So I think, in the future, when I have those moments, just kind of trust that and like live by it, die by it, Yeah. I think, and I think if I live by it and die by it, like no matter what, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
If I let other things influence me and then I don't like it, it's like, why'd I do that? But, if I do what I want to do and then it still doesn't come out great, it's like, well.
At least I tried it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So, yeah.
Word. Take that advice, y'all. If y'all took that in, take that in for sure. Let it sink. All right, go ahead.
For myself, it would definitely be not to be so hard on myself. These guys know me, and so like, as soon as I finish the video, I just like, wow, I hate this. This is
So
stupid.
bad. Every time.
Let's move on to the next.
He does that every time.
But yeah, I am very hard on myself, and I am learning. I'm in the process of, just being like, yo, like you're doing good, you're doing fine. People seem to enjoy it, But I would say just not to be so hard on myself. Yeah.
Word. That's wonderful. I don't think I really need to ask this question. But maybe. Let's see.
Yeah, now I want to hear it. Now
I know, right? So what is I think, so for me, as an artist, I only really give myself self-care when I'm burnt out. Like, I'll do so many things to my end, and then I'm like, okay, time to relax. I'll take a few days off, or now I'll go do this thing for me. But I want to get better at being proactive about that. So what is something that you all do, or even individual or as a group, what do you do in terms of self-care as an artist, being that we're so hard on ourselves sometimes?
I think it's just good to surround yourself with different forms of art, but also just keep in mind of like when you're not doing this, when you're resting, that's also a part of the art form. When you're living life, experiencing, traveling, like this is all the things that you do in life are going to translate into, music videos, your artistry, because, there's a lot of moments where I'm like, if I didn't take this break or have this conversation with this person, it wouldn't have aided in my, in my artistry or even in my mindset. So I think just find things that just do stuff, and I think you'll find that that'll help ease, the artistry. Because when you're an artist, your mindset is whatever you do is going to be a part of that. Being an artist is an experience of life. So I think live life and it'll help.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I don't know if I can give a better answer. That was amazing. I mean, I would just agree with him. I think it's definitely something that we're still figuring out with each other, like that balance, as you were saying, making sure you don't burn yourself out too crazy.
Very easy to do.
Super easy to do. I also think, for me personally, I like to step away and just if I'm in a moment, I just step away and do something completely different. Something that is still me, or maybe expressing myself or whatever, but step away from whatever it is that I feel like might be burning me out because you get to that moment sometimes where you're just I don't even really know what I'm doing anymore. I'm just kind of going.
Autopilot.
yeah, autopilot, and you're not really processing. You're just kind of going. So I think like sometimes trying to step out of that, and not even may not even be like relaxing or anything. Like I like to go like all right, I need to go like play basketball and like I'll go do that.
Totally
you know
not
what
that.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like totally different. And, like that helps kind of like reset me a little bit. So
Yeah. Stepping away.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Do we still have? Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna open it up to you all can ask questions of them, but I also want us to just open it up to just have an open discussion. I know a lot of us are artists in this room, and I'm sure we're just the people on the stage aren't the only ones who have something to say about artistry. So should you all want to share or ask or whatever, it's open. Leave the door open. We got her.
Hi.
Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Ro. Thank you for coming and for sharing your art.
Thank you for having us.
My question is more for you. I identify.
Who's you?
Adam.
Adam.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
I can't really see
I'm
it.
so
I saw the
sorry.
point.
I'm so sorry. But I identify a lot with having trouble like understanding whether or not something that I make is presentable, or like trying to understand like I don't know. I'm sorry. Like hearing you talk kind of like touched a little bit of a nerve for me, because I think that a lot of times I have trouble understanding the difference between something being presentable or like at industry standard within like my discipline or whatever, and me just being hung up on it. So how do you find that difference for yourself, and has it helped working on your art and community?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you had a good point of like having one industry standard, because I do music videos for other people, and so there's a point where I'm like, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it's presentable, right? But I tell myself like, really have trust in your taste, like if you believe you have good taste, then you're good. And I think if, when you curate that taste of what you have and dive a little deeper what that is, I think that's going to help aid in your decision making and kind of build that confidence of what you're doing. Because if you have good taste in what you're doing and what you're listening to, whether it's music or paintings, and you dive into those different types of art forms, when you talk to a client or when you do the music, like, that you're looking at high quality, good quality things that you could reference and, always have in the back of your mind. So that's what I do. I try to surround myself with just good work. I think, it's easy these days to kind of like, learn how to do this on TikTok or learn how to do this on YouTube, where it's like, those are great starting points, but there comes at a point where it's like, what is my favorite director watching? Like, you have to know what they're doing, because at the end of the day, people were doing this before the internet, and and it still holds up. It's timeless. And so I think when I do that, I also try to have in mind of like, how can I make this timeless? How can I do that? So yeah, a little long-winded answer, but that's my answer.
What's up, y'all? My name is Jose Quillen. I go by K-Villain artistically. I make music. I've shot photography. I've done graphic design. I've done a bunch of stuff. But I just wanted to shout out to y'all for what you're doing and what you're making, because
Thank you.
First off, I've been in a couple collectives and it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's work all the time. So the fact that it's enjoyable for you guys, stick to that, because that's so cool to hear. And also I wanted to mention the commercials. I just really appreciate the way y'all went about them, because artistically it's so easy to be pigeonholed and to only do one thing. But I think there's a variety of directions you guys are going in. I think that's gonna pay off huge in the long run. So just want to say that.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Shout out Josh, because
Yeah.
he made that same point. Josh is like, we're looking at the commercial like, wow, these are so different, but we're like, oh, we love it though. You know what I mean?
That's my favorite thing about them.
Yeah.
They're so different. Yeah.
Third row.
Bro.
I'm here for it. I love third
Thank
row.
you.
I'm a fan. Oh, we got a hand back there. In the back, on the couch. Making the way, making the way, making the way.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Kayla. So I wanted to ask whose idea it was in the first video to have that canvas scene. As a comment/question. Comment. So as the viewer, that was really exciting to me because I wasn't expecting it. I love things that I'm not going to expect in film. And I'm listening to the video, I'm watching the video, I'm not really thinking anything of it. You're just kind of going along with the journey. But that scene made me stop and really think about the words. So when I saw that the artist's canvas was like all black, and then the female lead's canvas was like very colorful and free flowing, I like that contrast because she kind of was giving like a Wednesday Addams vibe. Yeah. But when you're actually like looking at it and thinking about it, you realize that like her free flowingness being in and out of his life is like bringing her joy because of the colors. And then he's feeling like very black and blue because he's like beaten up by her coming in and out all the time. So like that scene really made me like pay attention, Kayla, to like the lyrics. So like who came up with that idea?
That's gonna be Doggo.
Yeah.
You want to talk, Doggo? We love this
Yeah.
video. Come on, Doggo.
Yeah.
Doggo on mic.
Yeah. This is Doggo.
This is Doggo.
His video.
You want to take my seat?
I'll be right. Hi. I was not expecting to be up here.
Yeah, but you are. Welcome. This is Doggo. Part of third row.
So yeah, that was my idea. It came, the idea first came out visually, and when it comes to visuals, I think like what's gonna stand the test of time. So those canvas just being side by side visually, yeah, like same like you, like it just stood out and it'll make people like pay attention. And my friend Donnie, who's the girl in the video, she has this like gothic kind of cool vibe to her. And I thought, like, oh, it'd be kind of sick if I had the black canvas because naturally I'm more colorful, I'm more playful, I'm more, I don't know, I have like a kid brain kind of thing going on. So, yeah, that's kind of like all it really was. It's just, yeah, thank you for that, by the way. That was really cool of you.
That was really great. Great question. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Doggo. We got a hand. We got another hand in the middle here. Stay close, Doggo. They might have more questions for you.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Ananya. Thank you for coming, guys. This was amazing.
Appreciate it.
You guys mentioned how you went to school for something completely different.
Yeah.
And you changed your mind and you went with that. You took the leap, you know?
Yeah.
And you also mentioned how one time you spent like 45 minutes just kind of talking and figuring out the problem and like sitting with it.
Mm-hmm.
So for people who don't know when to jump and when to settle, do you guys have advice for like when it feels right to do either one?
Oh man,
That's a great question. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I think when to jump, it's like there's not really an answer. I don't think like I've never had the moment where I'm like, oh, now, you know. It's just kind of, it was, yeah. I think the most honest thing I can say is like just do it. Like that's it. Like you just have to do it because, you know, for me, like even directing, you know, and like those commercials, like the first two I directed and the season's live video I directed, like directing for me is very new. Like, and it was just something I was just like, okay, I just got to do it. You know, Adam called me one day, and this is already kind of after, or it's like the beginning of third row. But he was doing a music video for another artist, so this is like client work, and he was like, hey, they want me to do this video, and I know, you know, I've talked to him about like, oh, I want to get into directing, and I would really like it. And he was like, do you want to do it? Like, he's like, I can't really be DP and direct. He's like, it's kind of two different hats. Like, do you want to direct it? And I was like, okay. Like I've never directed anything. Like I've never.
And we had a decent sized budget for that. It wasn't like.
Yeah, it was
down the
definitely
street.
something that they probably should have not hired me. But to be honest, but I kind of just was like, okay, like I just did it, and it kind of opened up like this whole new door, and me and Adam always have this thing where we always say this. People ask us like, oh, like how'd you kind of do this, and what made you want to do that or start, and we'll say like, yeah, like the only difference between like us and maybe someone else who was like trying to figure it out was like we just started doing it. It's really the only difference is we're just doing it. But there's like it's really not like a skill and knowledge and talent. Like it's not like, oh well, you know, I went to school to direct for 5 years. Like it's not that at all. It's just like I just started doing it. It's like it's really the only difference. It's not really any like secret, you know. And yeah, we did all go to school for something completely different than what we're doing now. You know, and I was just, I think, so we finished school and the pandemic happened in like a month.
Yeah.
So then I think that also we kind of were just left stuck, you know, thinking and you can't really do much. So I think that also was like somewhat aided in just us like being able to think and be like, what do we really want to do? And what do we really
gave us plenty
like?
of time to just like.
Yeah. So I guess that could also be an answer, just giving yourself that time, and you know, and I think, yeah, it really is just doing it. Like there's not really any kind of ramp up that can prepare you, or any kind of like he was saying, like, you know, watching. Like I remember watching like YouTube videos like the day before I'm supposed to go direct this video, and it's like, and it didn't help me at all. It really did it. Like
true.
And like he said, like people were doing this before the internet and they figured it out.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I would really just say, just like, really just trust what you want to do and just go for it, and you're gonna just figure it out on the way.
Yeah.
As far as knowing when to stop, I think you kind of know. Like, I think there's a point where you're like, yeah, this is just not working, and just knowing when to throw in the towel and just to revisit it, and maybe just not like force it. You know, if you know it's not working, sometimes it's part of that stepping away and like go live life. You know, I think if I hadn't gone to audio school, I wouldn't have met these guys. You know, and so it all comes back to these life experiences. Like, just keep doing more. You know, not just doing the artwork, like the art, but go talk to more people, go travel, go do something, read a book, you know. I think that's always gonna help, you know, with that process. And yeah.
And in that moment, like you said, you know, being in the street for 45 minutes, figuring it out, like winning, like in that specific moment, knowing when to stop is, I think same thing. Like you'll kind of just know. It's like, okay, this is like completely not working. I also think like, you know, because yeah, in that moment we almost did just be like, all right, this is not working, move on. But like it was kind of like a frantic situation, and I was like, let's just think. You know, we kind of thought about it, talked about it, giving again yourself that time to really like figure it out. And I think once you give yourself that time, even if it is like a few minutes, 10 minutes, then you'll kind of be like, okay, no, this is not it. You know, but if you give yourself that time and you're like, okay, I can kind of see a little light at the end of the tunnel, like let's just try to figure it out. So yeah.
I want to answer that too, low-key. I would say to continue, like, just I don't want to say piggybacking, but just to add to what they're saying, is to know that you know when it's time, and to take your time with it. Like, continue to check in with yourself. Like, what do I want to do now? What is it that's catching my eye now that didn't catch my eye before? And now that you're mindful that those things are catching your attention, the opportunity is going to show up, and it'll be confirmation, right? And then it'll be something small, and you have to say yes to it. And once you do that, someone might see you there, or whatever the case may be, and it'll be the next level up, and you have to say yes to that. So just to know what it is that's calling you, and you just have to answer, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we got time for anybody else. We got time for like maybe one more. If anybody has one. Margaret.
Can you tell me what were your Oh.
That was our first question.
Yeah, but
as far
I will say there was no runner-up.
There was no runner-up. That was it.
Yeah, and it wasn't really. So I did have the idea before the name, and I was trying to figure it out. And I will say I just, I was watching. Have you guys seen the movie Mid-90s?
I'm sorry, no.
It's like Jonah Hill's like directorial debut.
Okay.
It's like a skateboarding movie. But I was watching that, and like toward the end of the movie, one of the characters like shows a video, and his name in the movie is fourth grade, I think, third grade, something like that. So I think it's fourth grade.
Yeah.
And so at the end it says like a fourth grade production, and I was like, I really like a number in a name.
Yeah.
That was it. I was like a number in a name. I was like, it looks cool.
Yeah.
So I was like, how can I get a number in there? And then I was like, third row, seventh, and then it kind of just went from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it kind of came about.
It's tight. It's a tight name.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, we got one more. All right, Ian.
It's probably a couple series of questions. One for Dago on the video. I want to know about the
come back.
Captain America in bed. I'd like to know more about that.
Oh, the mask.
Yeah, and in general, I wanted to add to yours, like in your art, be selfish. I think there's a lot of power in being selfish or full of selfness. So when you're ready to release, if you're not, if you want to take the chance, if you want to experiment or whatever, be selfish. That shit is empowering. I'm real selfish in my work, and I think that's why it turns out the way that it does. And then for the collective, I'm curious about if y'all are open to clientele collaborations and how that works, because your shit's good and I'm interested. So
for the Captain America idea, that's all that guy's idea. That's his name's Adrian. He goes by Aristocrat, and he's an artist himself. And he likes, he's like a huge fan of gorillas. So he likes like having like a different persona or like an alter ego, even as like a cartoon. So all of his doodles, just like of himself, had that Captain America mask because he wanted to keep his identity, you know. He didn't want to show his face, which is why his face was pixelated in the music video too. Just because that golf cart scene, he forgot his fucking mask. And I was so mad. And then I was like, would it be cool if we just pixelate it? And then another shoe when he has the mask, when he takes it off, just to kind of connect those dots. So that was like an afterthought kind of thing. But yeah,
it was tight.
The mask was just all him though.
Yeah. Happy accident.
New to me. Nice.
Yeah. I was like, I don't think I know.
As collaborating?
Yeah, we're definitely open to collaborating, especially with, like other brands and stuff. And yeah, I think that's something we just recently started talking about. Like there's other brands, or not brands, but like other companies that kind of do that similar thing. For instance, we talk about PG Lang a lot. Yeah,
shout out PG
Lang. That they collaborate with like the Calvin Klein ads that they have, and they're like so amazing. But they like feel like collaborations. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like Calvin Klein. It just has this commercial, and they Dave Free and PG Lang did it.
Dave Free had his hand in that.
Yeah, like this looks like a PG Lang video, and it's like PG Lang for Calvin Klein. So that's like, to us, that's like a big deal. It's like we don't want to just do things and it's like, yeah, we did that, we had a hand in that. It's like, no, we want to have like a look that's like, oh, the same way when you watch a movie or you watch something and you're like this looks like this person's work, or you hear music and you're like did Pharrell do this? Like this, you know what I mean? Like this sound like you want to have that. So I think that's something that we're trying to figure out and make sure that that's as far as like client work, yeah, the direct answer. I don't know. It's like, in terms of for third row, I think that kind of gets juggled. But, Adam also, does his own thing in terms of videos for other artists and stuff. So yeah, he definitely accepts client work, and definitely, you got to, experience other art and work with other people, and, also got to pay some bills sometimes.
Yeah.
But, no, yeah, definitely.
I got one question. And we can end after this because it's getting a little late. You know what I mean? I had the pleasure of getting to meet y'all out in LA.
Yes.
Very random. I feel very honored and blessed for that moment in hindsight, though, because I didn't understand why at the moment I was about to meet y'all, but it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to see a lot of what you just showed. Literally just, bro, like in the room, just vibing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like shirt off, like in my socks, just chilling. I'm just like, yo, what y'all got?
Trey's
2 a.m. like
Literally, bro. I'm like, yo, what y'all got going on? And Adam showing me, mind you, we didn't connect on something like, yo, let's work. I went out to LA for a completely different reason.
Yeah, you needed a spot to stay at.
And I needed a place to stay, and they gave me a place to stay and looked out for me. And
shout out Amar too.
Yeah,
shout out to Amar for making that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that I can really speak on that. That was like a God thing. But I got to see what you were doing, and my initial thought was like, how are you doing this? Like that was just coming from, and I'm a musician, and I've shot my own stuff and things like that. And then for me, I would always feel like, yo, in order for me to take the next step, I have to like I need the resources, I need the things, I need like money to pay people to do this. And that's the constant frustration as an artist when you have an idea and you're trying to like level it up, is getting what you need to do it. So I guess my question for you is, how are you doing this? Right? On limited resources.
Absolutely.
Right? When I know y'all aren't backed by like this huge company, like A24 ain't do this.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like y'all did this. So what advice would you give for young visionaries, aspiring filmmakers, DPs, what advice or direction would you give them to execute these ideas without being rich, without having, you know what I'm saying, connections and stuff like that, of feeling like they might be by themselves on these ideas?
Yeah, I mean, I think, for us, we are lucky in terms of we have each other, because I will say, like, I couldn't imagine doing any of this by myself. And I know that's like the case for most people, and that's extremely tough. And I mean, money is,
Yeah, I mean that's all the time. I mean, Josh kind of keeps me in check because, like, as a DP, as a cinematographer, it's like you want all the toys. Like, give me, we need these lenses, and Josh is like, do we really need that? Like, do we have the budget for that? And so it forces me to like use what I have. I mean, Doggo, the Blackmagic Pocket 4K, like that's
what we do mostly.
Most of our stuff, and I know if a lot of you are starting out, like that's probably the camera you're using, and so I'm like, how can I make this the best thing possible?
Yeah, and even just like just accepting that what you have is what you have.
Yeah, I think that's a huge part.
And like, so be the best at using what you have. And Doggo's music video, the budget was
like what, like $200? $200.
Yeah, the budget was that golf cart.
$200.
That was the budget. It was the golf cart. That was it. Everything else, there was nothing else.
Wow.
Those, we didn't have a dolly where those, it was like trunk of a car, and Adam's laying down. You know what I mean? And it was like at that moment that's what we had. Now we've have a little bit of more knowledge and like, oh yeah, we should get a dolly for this and this lens. But that video was just like, it was like we needed money. Or we needed, not money, we needed a golf cart, and it was like, even the golf cart was like, all right, go in on the golf cart.
I can't spot the $200.
Yeah, at the time I was like,
split that.
It was like $200. Yeah, let's split that a few ways. So I think, it was just knowing that we really couldn't, it wasn't an option, basically. So it was like, okay, this is what we have, so like, let's get good at what we have, The same, and that could be applied to kind of anything, even music. It's like, when people like, I need this and these plugins and da 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 da, and it's like
just rip it off Reddit, man. Those beat packs on Reddit.
It's like, but it's like whatever you have is like you can get good at with whatever you have, and we still don't, even the stuff now, like those commercials, like it's, it's like the budget hasn't gone that much up. It's relatively
really hasn't.
the same. So, I think it's just trying to master what you have and trying to, you can get a lot done with, I think, like a lot less than what people think.
Yeah, I agree.
The things we've gotten done with, even, jazz, like, and I think also is,
that season live video.
Yeah, meeting people, talking to people, making connections, and having friends that are also do what you do. I think that's a big thing. The season's live video was
friends.
It's all just like people helping us out, which is obviously nice to have.
Yeah.
But that comes from Jazz being who he is, which is like
Mr. Outside.
Being able to like meet people, and he's very friendly, and he has this way about him where he can talk to people, and now he has a connection with them. So don't be afraid to like connect with people and make connections and do all that, is like cliche as it sounds.
Yeah.
Because like when you need it, it helps. That live video was very that live video was last minute. Like it was super. It was like
he told us the week before. He was like, "I'm about to leave to New York for like 3 months.
Needs to get done.
This needs to get done before I leave." And I was like, "You want a warehouse, a harpist, 3 backup singers, a drummer, and an audio engineer to mix all this?" I was like, "Yeah, you're
crazy.
You're crazy."
Yeah.
But let's just reach out. Let's figure it out. Let's put in the effort to actually see if this is possible.
Yeah.
Call people up, figure it out.
Yeah,
and you'll be surprised how much you get away with. People are like, "Yeah," you're like, "Really? Okay."
Yeah, I think that too. Like just don't be afraid to ask.
Start asking. Yeah.
Just don't be afraid to ask. I've been shocked. We had this other video that we did for Jazz that it's like at like a ranch with horses, and he was like,
I saw that.
He was like, "Yeah, can you?" He was in New York at the time, and me and Adam just were kind of doing that. He was like, "Can you do this idea?" And I was like, "No."
Yeah,
I was like,
"Where
am
to get
I
a
supposed to get
horse?"
horses from?
Yeah,
and I was like, "We don't have a budget to rent a ranch and horses," and like I was like, "That's not possible." He's like, "Well, just try." So then I just start calling ranches. I don't even know where to get these numbers. I'm just Googling ranch, and I'm just calling people, and I'm calling these like equestrian and everyone's like, no, or they're like, well, you have to go through the city. And I hear, I'm like, okay. Like as soon as I hear that, I'm like, okay, you're not the right person. And one of the people was like, oh, yeah, I used to work for that ranch or whatever. It's like a school, but they're closed now. But like their number used to be my number, and I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, why? And I told her, she's like, oh, well, I have my own.
Oh, wow.
And she was like 23, and
Yeah,
she was
she
like
our age, and I was like, "Why do you have a ranch?"
Yeah. She's like, oh, I have one. Like, yeah. She's like, you just come and try to, we'll figure it out.
Was she also the person in the video?
No.
That was Jazz's homie.
Yeah. So
Okay.
even that I was like, after I hung up, I was like, what? I was like, that's just, but it's literally just calling, and she was like, yeah, come through, and she was super cool, like film this and do whatever, and that was just like a situation where it was like, if I didn't make those calls and just ask, and it's like you never get that if you kind of just are just like, well, I no way I'll be able to do that, and just sit on that, then like it for sure won't.
Yeah.
But if you at least try, it's like you kind of would be surprised at what you can get done.
Crazy enough, and she's like giving us options on the horses. Like, do you want this horse? Do you want us to braid that horse's hair for the video? I'm like, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, this is.
I'm
okay,
I'm just happy to be here.
Right. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, just ask.
Yeah, long answer, but yeah.
No, thank you. No, that's like.
Yeah.
That's important because you never know who's gonna leave with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even Trey doing this, because when you stayed at our crib back in September.
Oh yeah, they must have thought I was a madman, yo.
Yeah,
I didn't know him at all.
He's like, I threw this festival last year, and blah blah blah. I'm trying to run it back this, the next year, and he's talking about it, and he's like, yeah, in Connecticut. I'm like, Connecticut. I'm like, all right.
I was like, yo, I'm bringing y'all out there.
Yeah.
Bro. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches on their couch, like, like, yeah, bro.
And
y'all gonna have mad fun.
Right. come out to Connecticut.
Yeah,
They don't-
and not even nothing against Connecticut. It was just like that's far.
No, they just for one they didn't know
Like, that's
me.
like- that's across the country.
They didn't
for
know
us.
me. They never been on this side for real. Like you know what I mean. So even that's what I'm saying. I can ramble about it, but the idea of just like speaking it and saying asking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and being like, yo.
And yeah,
He
Trey,
told us-
Trey brought it up and was like, "Would you guys want to somehow be a part of this?" He's like, "I don't know in what capacity," and we were like, "Sure." Like, well, you know, we are like, "Yeah, cool."
Yeah.
And even then, like, I would have been like, "Yeah, no way."
Yeah.
I was like, just because, like, you know, getting there and figuring it out, and what would we even do, and
place to stay.
But that was the energy though. Like and like if I put my little 2 cents in there,
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like when you're creative or when you're seeking like community in like these creative spaces, I think it's important to look at the people, right? Like look at the person first across from you. I think my experience in LA was like really weird, yo. Like it was mad weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I haven't had that experience in LA before, but this particular, remember I'm venting to these guys like at their crib. I'm like, bro, like my reason for coming here, like I'm not enjoying this at all. And my connection with them had nothing to do with getting a music video done, music. I'm just at their crib chilling.
we just sitting on the couch.
Just talking, man, like sitting on the couch. And I feel like those type of connections are like God given. And it aligns with the creative side, right? Like often we have these ideas and it's like, man, I gotta get this done. And we kind of like try to climb the ladder via people without really looking at who they are and why we're around them, and we see like right through them. So like I definitely like feel like it's important to like just like allow yourself to be human, look at other people like they're human.
100%.
Allow yourself to be present in a room, in a space, and yeah, those connections come naturally. Like just organically.
Yeah, I think once you start like, oh, you know, I do this, let's collab. It's like just to talk.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, let's work. It's like, damn, bro, like I just walked in the door, bro. Like,
Right.
I don't want to work tonight. You know what I mean?
And like us coming together it didn't start at all as like, let's work together.
Yeah.
Like for the longest time, like we didn't work on anything together for the first like year we've known it, like maybe more we knew each other. It wasn't that at all. It was like we were just like friends, and we would just hang out and like clown and do whatever, and like that's how that relationship started, which is why I think now that we are working, like there's that foundation.
Yeah,
for
sure.
I think that's with anybody you work with. When there's that foundation outside of let's work, it I think it means more. It's easier, and so.
And also, it's not fun to work with like crappy people.
No, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like you might think you want to work with somebody, and I just don't fit. They might not even be crappy. I just might not like.
Just not be.
The chemistry might not be there for real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Some people were in more than one collective because
You
it just
feel
didn't
me?
work. It just didn't vibe.
Now you want an
find the
8-hour
right
long
one yet.
session like with someone you don't like.
Yeah. But now we're here, so.
I'm happy y'all here, bro.
Really
Happy y'all
great.
here, for sure.
Thank you guys.
We can wrap it up.
Yes. Thank you all. Let's give a round of applause for this entire night. Sing Sounds Festival. This is their second event. They have the big festival is happening on Saturday, right?
Yep.
Actually, across the street. Am I right?
For sure. Yeah, so if you're not familiar, hey, Kennies, can you do me a favor? Can you just like press a button on my laptop? I don't know if it's any button. Yeah, Saturday we're at Edgewood Skate Park. Yeah, if you don't know how to get there, there's an entrance on Fifth Street, I believe. You just like go straight. Or you can go into the parking lot, park there, and walk across the bridge. Before Saturday though, Friday, what's today, Wednesday? We're gonna chill tomorrow. You know what I mean? Get some rest. I'm tired. We're gonna chill tomorrow. Friday, we at Temple Plaza, and we're doing a happy hour / Indie Wave, which is our kind of mini concert series that we do. It's free, of course. We got Anchor Spa out there doing drinks and wings, or I don't know if they got wings. I like their wings, but they're gonna have food, I think, out there. Yeah, it's free. Pull up 4:30 to 7:30. We got Grits King, Jonathan Moore, Paul Brian Hudson, doing performances like full sets. And then at night, we're at Stella Blues for the Underground, which is our party series. That's $10, but it's a vibe. We got live performances there too. DJs, we're gonna dance, have a good time. Saturday we at the park. There's also an after party. Did RB leave? Okay. RB, make sure you have fun. They're doing the official after party. So if you go on the Seeing Sounds page, you can get more info about that, RSVP. There's limited space there, so if you RSVP, feel me, you got it. Yeah, can we give it up for Jack?
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm mad proud of her, y'all.
Thank you.
I'm mad proud of her.
Thank you.
She touched on it, but I had no idea who was gonna do this thing, like at all. How do we even like?
We were downtown, and
I ran into you.
Yeah, I was
on my bike.
Play downtown, and I seen he on his lowrider bike, all cool,
Yeah.
putting posters
Yeah.
up, and I was like, Trey,
Mhm.
and he looking like, we do this whole bit where we act like old people.
She knew me since high school, so we had
Yeah.
we 56.
We go way back.
Mhm.
So, yeah, he just asked me, he said, are you good with public speaking? And I was like, I love to public speak. I'm an actor. And he was like, yo, I'm doing this new thing with Seeing Sounds called Director's Cut. I think, you should do it. And I was like, okay. So that's really how that happened.
Yeah, and I don't know, I just had, y'all said something cool too.
I want to wait. So this connects to what I was telling to you, because right when he brought this opportunity to me, I was thinking about how I would love to start interviewing people, how I would love to do like podcasts, how I would love to do this thing. And it was just an idea, and it was just a thought, and I was just mulling it over of how I would do that. And then I run into him and he says this, and I say yes, right? So like, who knows what's next after this? But I know what's next. I'm excited.
I really do know what's next though. Like that's crazy.
I'm excited for what's next.
Yeah.
I want to do more of this. This was really fun for me.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed you. You did so well. And you touched on something about feeling led first.
Yes.
And I think that was the key that hit me when I was there, because I feel led to do everything I'm doing. And in that moment, I felt led to trust my gut to ask you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I really appreciate you saying yes, and I look forward to like what this will be. And I want to thank all of y'all for coming. Can you give yourself a hand? Yeah. It's like a church thing. I hope y'all enjoy this. I hope, it's cool to see y'all stayed too. We was here for a while, but it seems like I really had a good time and wanted this. And that's my hope, that this can be a consistent space. And I plan to do what I can to keep that going. I want to thank Lyric Hall again. I want to thank Revival again for sponsoring this event and providing this beautiful space. I want to thank Kennies. You've probably seen him 2 times the whole time. Can we please clap it up for him? These mics, these cameras that you see, that's all him, and he's up there manning the stations. We did live record, or not live. We were supposed to live stream, but we got to do a little update on the Wi-Fi. So next time it will be live stream, but we did record this session. So we're gonna upload it to both the Lyric Hall YouTube and the Seeing Sounds YouTube channel, so we can share this type of thing with our friends and with the whole world. And we're hoping this could be a space for everyone, man. I'm excited for the folks who are here who will be on the stage soon, next. I'm not sure how consistent that will be yet, but it will be a consistent thing. Additionally, if you do video work, if you do anything of the sort, if you're looking to do this type of thing once you walk out the door, please send it over. Like, please, I want to watch it and I want to check it out, because I want to talk to you and get to know you. Yeah, send your stuff. And if you got friends, tell them to send their stuff, And
And there's some actors in the room too.
Actors too. So this is not just for like people who are behind the camera per se. If you act, if you costume design, if you do audio mixing, audio engineering of some sort in connection to film, shoot, I don't care if you bring the bagels out. You know what I mean? Like I want to meet everyone who does this type of work, and we want to talk to y'all. So if that's you, if you know people, like the best way is probably to email us. We check the DMs and stuff too, but email us. I tag everybody here in the on the page too, so follow them, get to know them, connect with them. Again, third row, they'll be here all weekend. So pull up to the events to get to know them. They got merch. You got something to say?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say same thing. We got Saturday if you're going, July 1st. Again, go see Doggo, go see Jazz, and we'll have a booth there as well.
Nice.
So come say what's up. We'll have Ruby selling some stuff and just hanging out. So yeah.
Fire. All right, y'all. That's it, man. Y'all get home safe.